it's good to have a good op shop that, you know, you have a good rapport with the staff and they want to help you out, sort of thing. So
Yeah,
it's good.
absolutely makes a huge difference. Now, just bear with me a sec because I'll just need to set something up on my other screen. I was just having a bit of workshop entertainment myself, watching someone, dig into a storage unit. It was full of, I mean, not that it means anything to me because I don't, understand American sports, but everything in there was basically a signed piece of merchandise with a certificate of authenticity.
Oh,
Oh, so they were a bit happy about that, were they?
Wow.
they hit the jackpot.
Yeah, they were literally speechless themselves. Like they couldn't believe what they were seeing.
Well, if all you saw was a bunch of boxes and that's what you ended up with,
Yeah, and like when you looked at it, like they showed what it looked like when you looked into it, and like it looked dreadful. It was just these old crummy boxes and covered in dust because apparently they'd spent the stuff had been in there for, I don't know whether they said it hadn't been near it for at least 6 years, and the stuff had been in storage for 10 years.
Yeah.
And this person had paid $40,000 over 10 years to keep it in storage.
Holy dolly.
And the weird thing is, they paid all that money, and it wasn't even a climate controlled unit. It was just one of those ones that faces outside. And here's all this, thousands and thousands of dollars of all this merch, and the majority of it signed and with certificates of authenticity. And unreal.
Well, I get dust in my unit, and mine's inside. Still no control inside.
Yep.
This is silly. I'm just doing it and sell similar. And I have got 2 necklaces that are identical, just a different colour. They're in 2 separate listings. eBay is telling me for one of them, I should have my promoted listing rate at 20.2%.
Holy dolly, yeah.
And the other one at 12.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Olive green's just not in for a necklace.
Oh, dear, yeah. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Well, when I did
20.
I actually because I took all my variation listings off promotions, and they've been off for a little while. Anyway, I thought and I've been talking about it for a couple of weeks, that I should put them back on just one of the lowest rates. So I thought, okay, so I went in it to do it, and my thought was like, I don't want to be paying a heap of money on these. I'm actually quite happy not paying any, but it wouldn't probably hurt to at least put them at 2 or 3%. So. And I was originally going to do the dynamic one where it goes up and down. Not that it's likely to go up and down off what I was going to put it on. But of course, you can't do that now, and it is for us as well. You can't do that now unless the minimum is 5% if you do the dynamic one. So I didn't.
Oh, dynamic, yes.
So I didn't do dynamic. So I put them all on 3. I think I did, in the end, I decided 3%. Yeah. So, but sorry. The point of that was, it was trying to tell me that, that I should be putting them at 13%. So, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just
whatever
ridiculous.
number they pull out of the hat.
Yeah. Now, Bronwyn, you have seen some of this, but the topic for this morning was going to be good customer service and providing a good customer experience and why that's important. And so I'm just going to share my screen here.
No, I won't be here too long today. I've got to go to work.
Oh, that's okay. We'll let you off then. You'll be able to watch the replay, John. Won't that be fun? Where are we? I opened the same thing up on 2 screens, and now I'm trying to share my screen, and I can't work out which screen to share because they both look identical. So that was a bit silly, wasn't it? All right, share. All right, so if you have a look at this screen here. So this started off for me the other day. I was looking for a comp for a book. And this isn't the actual book that I was looking for the comp on, but I came across this person selling these books, like a similar book that I thought I should have been selling around the $20 mark, and they're selling it for, like $6 plus $3.50 post. And it just simply started with me looking at their main photo picture. And yet
You're cutting in and out. I don't know if it's just me.
Am I? All right, I'll try.
Yeah, GG, you're dropping in and out.
We can't hear you properly.
You can't hear me properly? Is that better? Is that helping if
No, No, you're dropping in and out and going robot-y.
Ooh, why is that? Why is this so?
That's
That's better.
Is that better?
Technically.
Mm.
Yeah, technically.
Technically. Ha ha ha. Funny one, Adam. All right, we'll try again. So, yeah, I was looking for this comp and looking. Then I thought, oh my God, look at the photo and this grotty piece of paper that says, oh, yeah, what does it say? Hang on. I need to get out of there so I can blow it up so I can read it. So blind. It says Oz seller. I can't even read it on that faster post. Something like that. It's so blurry, that photo, that I can't even read it. But, this grotty piece of paper, this book's actually quite straight compared to some of the photos I found. And so I took a screenshot of it because I just thought, there's a good photo of what not to do when you're taking photos. And there's only 2 images of the book. So then I decided to start having a look at his other items and went into his store and looked at his other items. And this person, for some reason, I don't understand it, not only for the fact of not giving the customer a good experience, but also to hold yourself up to a standard of how you present your store, and also providing yourself with a reasonable return on the hours that you put in, because the majority of books this person is listing and selling are listed for a very small amount. Now, so I've gone here into his other items. So what I then did is I ticked on this box over here, under $5, and it actually brings me up all the stuff he's got listed for under $5. And there's 700 results. He's got 700 items out of his 3,500 items in his store that are under $5 plus $3.50 post. Like, you'd be making sense, if anything, unless you're doing a dodgy, which possibly they are. But I just don't get it. And I thought, until this morning, I actually thought that perhaps the low prices are because they start them off at a high price and then as they age, they just keep putting the price down. But that's not actually the case, because here's a new listing from yesterday where they've listed a Paul Jennings book for $2.50. So I think they're just putting books at if they're comping them at all, they're just putting them at the lowest price. So then I looked at what books they had between $5 and $12.
Running out again.
Yeah, breaking up and yeah.
Okay. I think it's when I'm swapping screens and stuff that it's doing it, maybe. Is that better now?
No, I can't hear you properly. Yeah.
So they have another section of prices between $5 and $12. Now, that says the results for that came up at 1,800 plus results. Now, honestly, at $12, even then, when you sell something for $12, let me just have a look here, see if I can pick something up. At 15, and I know this is not in the same category, but at $15 on a hat, I make $8.32. So realistically, if at $12, maybe $5 profit, if that, depending on their postage discounts. So, the bulk of their store is under $12. And then you look at that, what sort of return is that getting you? Like, that, to me, that's not going to give you enough. If you want to divide it up into an hourly rate, it's not going to give you an hourly rate that's even going to pay yourself. But anyway, that aside, so that's one thing. The other thing was looking at it and seeing this grotty piece of paper that this person is using, which I will blow up and, just bear with me, show you. And I will take a screenshot of this because, okay, that's how you've decided to do it. Maybe you're not a very techie person, so you've just got this little handwritten note. But apparently you've been using this handwritten note for, a decade, maybe. That bit of paper is so dirty and grotty. Okay, if that's what you want to use, but like after a period of time, would you not do another one so that it wasn't so grotty? I mean, I think he's doing it for 2 reasons. One is to help keep his book straight, technically, but that hasn't worked a lot for this person because a lot of their pictures, the pictures are crooked. And I started looking at it, from a perspective of what this was going to do for me as a seller. And I looked at his solds, and he's selling a few things, but not a lot of high value. I'll just go into it and see what he did yesterday. So yesterday he ended up selling three books yesterday, and he's got 3,500 items in his store. $9.50, $5, and $7.50 are the prices of the books. So, it's not a lot. But then when I burrowed down into it and looked at it, and I just thought the customer experience. I mean, people are buying off this person, and as I said, when you look at it, it's not very often they sell something even over $10, let alone higher. And people are buying off this person because their things are the cheapest. They just want the book. They don't care generally what the condition of the book is or, anything like that, because you can't see that from what this person's presenting. So realistically, to me, you're not attracting a better customer. You're going to be attracting the people that want to pay the minimum amount of money. And, I tell a lie. Maybe they did sell a couple more things. Just let me have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They did sell 9 things yesterday. I forgot that I still had ticked the what was it, $6 to $12. So I was missing the under $5 books that he sold. So all the extra things, the extra 6 things he sold were all under $5. To my mind, this person's only, as I said, only going to be attracting buyers who want the cheapest item, and they're not too worried about condition. They're not wanting to spend money. Even if they buy multiple items from your store, they're still not spending much money, are they? And I want more for myself than that. I want to have a store that I'm proud of, and I want to attract the good customers. I want to attract the customers that are willing to pay a bit more because my books are, well, maybe not necessarily all in perfect condition, but even if they're not, that I have described them accurately, that I've photographed them accurately. I guess that's why I take such care with my packaging when I send the books in particular out, because I've never had a return on a book, and I want them to come back and tell me that they are happy with how I've packaged them and leave good feedback saying that. And that's the majority of my feedback does when it comes to books. That's what it does say. And that's what I want for me. And I think you attract a higher class of customer, which again is going to allow you to ask a little bit more. And this has happened to me several times in the past where I have listed books for higher than what other people are listing them for. And because they're listing, there's been times where I've seen first editions listed for $16, $17, and it's ridiculous. And I've got a book that's in really good condition, and it is a nice first edition. It deserves more than that. And so I have a rule that I list those books at $29 and however many cents I'm feeling like doing that day. Some days it's 77 cents, some days it's 88 cents, sometimes it's 90 cents, whatever. And sometimes those books sell. Sometimes there's not many of the other cheaper books, and they'll eventually go, and then there'll just be mine there. So it will help bring the market up doing that, and because I also, when I list books, I list them knowing that they're likely to be long tail. Hey, it'd be great if all my books sold within 90 days, but that's not going to happen. So I'm okay with letting them sit there for that bit longer until it does get to the point where that happens, and that helps raise the market. But sometimes, because a lot of the people selling stuff like this guy does not do international shipping, so he's got the same. He's the only other person that's got this book that I listed yesterday, and so someone in Australia can buy his. But if someone from overseas wants that book, they have to come to me because he doesn't have international shipping. Also, his blurb was the other thing, because in his blurb, which did make me laugh, and I did check it on a newer book. Let me just bring one up. So in his actual description, item description, he simply starts off saying, used copy, some creasing to covers and spine, age yellowing to inside covers and pages. And then he puts the postage weight. So he does actually, that description does change from book to book, right? But then he goes on to say postage, combined postage, and a note on express post. But underneath that it says, payment, we accept Commonwealth Bank deposit, Australia Post money order, and PayPal. Well, none of us do that anymore, and haven't done for some time, because eBay now handles all our money. But this person's never ever bothered to change their little blurb to address that, which I found interesting. So they don't even care enough to take, they're obviously using a template or cut and paste from a notepad or something to put that into every single listing. So, but they haven't even bothered to change that. Just find that really telling about them as a seller and the type of buyers they're going to attract. I mean, yeah, look, I could get on there probably and find a few bargains from his under $5 range of books. But then we come to the question of, as Jen discovered with the book that she bought off the fluffy white rug lady last week, A, because it was a bargain, and B, because she actually wanted to see, well, we all did, really, and she did it for us. We really were curious as to how this book was going to arrive because it was free post. And it was $5 free, $5 free post, I think, wasn't it? Yeah. And this book was an Asimov sci-fi book, vintage. But when you read her postage policy on that item, it says, or the postage information, it actually says that it will be sent via standard Australia Post parcel or parcel post or something like that. To see where she describes it, yeah. Yet it was just sent as a letter for a start, and a dodgy letter at that. So Jen says when she got the parcel, and a lot of you may have seen the photos. So I noticed when I blew the photos up to have a look at the condition of the book and the envelope and stuff, the stamps were cut from something else and stuck on tape onto her parcel. So obviously they hadn't been had a post office been franked over or whatever they call it, so it was still current, and they've cut those off something else and stuck them on that, so it hasn't cost them for the postage, I'm assuming. The book fitted into a small envelope size. I think the envelope seemed to be a lot bigger than what the book was, so it would have got trampled around a bit. And then they had this tracking label thing, which apparently they're free from the post office, but wouldn't actually, I'm guessing, shouldn't really be designed to go on a letter that has got, $3 worth of stamps on it, I'm thinking. And so Jen then went to her local post office and discussed it with them because she's got a good relationship with them. And yeah, the lady there said that the wrong amount of postage was charged. The tracking stickers are free from Australia Post, so you can ask for them, but not for that size parcel. And the reason that parcel has gotten through is that they had posted it in a red letter box as opposed to taking it into the post office and having it scanned, because if they had have done that, they wouldn't have allowed it through. So there's plenty of sellers out there that are dodging the system, which again I find quite telling, because not only dodging the system with the cost, because they're trying to sell stuff cheap and get around it and still make a little bit of profit. Well, and I get that, but at what cost, to my mind, and at what is the buyer experience you're giving your customer? Because, none of us, like Jen showed us all the pictures of that, and none of us thought in any way, shape or form that book was sent in a manner in which it should have been sent. It was a vintage 1970s Asimov science fiction book that should have been sent in at least a bubble mailer, because it deserved that. So I guess it was lucky that it arrived safely and without being too damaged. It did seem to be the book that was in the original pictures. And that's the other thing, how many times we see pictures, people using stock images, and you can't see what you're getting. I see it time and time again when I'm comping jeans, just the women's jeans, people using a stock image from the store, like the product stock image, and you're not actually getting to see what the jeans look like. Yes, the original photo may show the jeans in a more flattering way, because let's face it, jeans aren't the prettiest things to photograph, like to, make look good, especially plus sizes. But again, what are you showing the buyer? And I do wonder with those people, because they are used jeans that I was comping, not new. I can understand doing it on a new. I'd be doing it myself on a new. But on used ones, I wonder how many of the customers are happy with what they get, what they actually receive in the mail. Because there's no denim. Once it's been washed, even once, the colour changes. How much dye comes out of a pair of jeans in one wash? There's no way they look as crisp and clean. I mean, you can tell a pair of jeans when before they've been washed, because they're so heavy and hard and stiff. And, I was told a long time ago the reason why Wranglers people love buying secondhand Wranglers so much is because the originals are like putting on a pair of cardboard jeans. They're so stiff. They do take a bit of wearing in, so people like getting them that they're already worn in. So yeah, I don't think any of you guys could either. I couldn't comfortably be presenting items so badly to a buyer, and I couldn't. How can you expect to be getting, good feedback all the time? Number one, and what class of customer do you want to attract to yourself? Number two, thoughts.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I'll just quickly touch on stock photos. I hate stock photos as a buyer. I absolutely loathe it.
Mm-hmm.
That said, when I first started as a seller 20 plus years ago, focusing on video games, I used to use stock photos because I thought it was a really good way of making my listing look professional. And as time went on, I realized that as a person who does collect video games, I couldn't assess a pre-owned item with a stock photo in terms of its condition, whether it came with an instruction manual, is the disc heavily scratched, what's the case like, all that sort of thing. So that's why I don't use stock photos anymore. And it really puts me off as a buyer when I'm online. If I see just a stock photo and it's something that I do want and I like the price, I have to send them a message saying, hey, is this complete? Does it have a manual? Because half the time they don't even tell you that. And most buyers reply straight away. And some of my buying experiences have been positive in the end. But there has been times when I've had something described as being very good with a stock photo and I got it and it was barely acceptable. So
yeah.
In terms of stock photos, I really like, if it's for a low end item and let's say it's a DVD, it might only be $5 to $10. Maybe your stock photo is okay and you stand by your product and the condition is good. People might be a little bit more accepting, but in particular with video games and jeans and stuff like that, you need to really show the product, and a stock photo just doesn't cut it.
No, it doesn't, does it? And you said yourself, so if you were presented with two equivalent products with equivalent prices and one had stock photos and one was actual photos of the real item, which one are you going to go to?
Well, there's been occasions where I'm happy to pay an extra $1 or $2 for an item that is using real photos because I know what I'm getting, and I don't want to have to wait for a person that's using a stock photo to reply to an email.
Agreed. What about you, Adam? What are your thoughts?
I don't use stock photos on any of mine, so
good.
Sorry, things fell.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good. Good photos, good quality. I don't buy anything that has a stock photo.
Yeah.
Listings have to have more than one photo to show you the item.
Yes. And I also think, now I've gone blank. Anyway. It'll come back to me what I was going to say. I've gone blank. Bronwyn, thoughts?
I've used stock photos on a couple of occasions, but only when they were both clothing items. They were brand new with tags, and I would put one or two stock photos from the supplier in the listing, but not as the main photo.
Yep.
Just one showing the dress being worn or whatever.
Yep. And I quite agree.
Bulk of the photo of the item, but I wouldn't do it with a used item.
Yeah.
No.
I think that's where I was going to. I think if you're selling new with tags, it's a whole different ball game because it's going to be like the item, unless it has got some sort of damage or something, but you can get away with it, and I think it's a fair thing to get away with using the stock photo. But yeah, I just don't think when you're selling a used item that it's really not it's not going to give your buyer
the honest.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I agree as well. I will put another disclaimer in there. What I said before was just in regards to pre-owned items, because I do have a couple of brand new and sealed items that I have used a stock photo. And the reason I've used a stock photo is because the item is quite large, and to take an accurate photo just isn't really possible. But then that said, in regards to using that stock photo, I actually have additional photos of the actual item sealed in its packet so that people can see what it is they're actually getting as well.
Yeah. I agree. And I think also if you've got new and sealed DVDs, for example, I haven't used stock photos when I've done it in the past, but I have considered using stock photos because we all know how hard it is to get a decent photo without some sort of reflection showing up when they're sealed with shiny plastic. So yeah, I can see why people would do it then.
I think it even helps. It even helps if you use a stock photo, but take a photo of that particular DVD side on so people can see the plastic seal on the edge.
Yeah.
So it just gives a little bit of, I suppose, reassurance to the buyer that what they're getting is actually new and sealed.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I agree. Because I mean, I think as a seller, we've got a kind of, well, I will call it a responsibility. I feel it's a responsibility of mine and part of my, I guess it's a self-imposed policy I've put on myself to try and provide the best possible experience for my customer, because you do want them to come back and give you good feedback, even if they're just ticking the box and not leaving a comment. But if they're going to leave a comment, you want it to be a good comment, not a bad comment, because that only helps you with your business going forward. Because it's,
I agree with that. And I suppose it gets down to what's your standard. What are your standards? I had a look at this bookseller just then while you were talking. These are just observations and probably a little bit of speculation as well. He's talking about his conditions, about how he does bank transfer and all that sort of thing. And these are all things that I used to have in my listings, from 15 years ago. And they obviously haven't updated their policies and things like that. He or she looks like a volume seller, so I noticed that a lot of those low end items are so therefore can be sold at a cheap rate. They might also be making use of concession stamps, which are only 60 cents each, which would add to their sort of their standard as being like a volume type thing. And maybe that's how they're sort of going about doing it. My standards aren't, I send things as large letters, and a lot of people, you hear people saying, has to be in a padded mailer or something like that. But I suppose sometimes maybe people's standards or what they believe in are higher than what they need to be. I wouldn't send anything as a large letter on a regular basis if I was getting consistent negative or neutral feedback, and it just doesn't happen. So for the lower end items, I'm more than happy to send it as a large letter. I think with this particular buyer, or seller I should say, the feedback's actually quite good considering how many sales they've done. They've only got a couple of negatives. Now, I don't want negatives on my account, so maybe for those higher end items I would take a bit more care, but if that person's just into volume, then what they're doing seems to be working.
Yeah, I guess they probably are trying to be a volume seller, but they're not really selling at volume, because you would want to be selling more than 9 items under $10, wouldn't you, a day?
Yeah, and I wonder if they've been a seller for a long time, maybe they are a retiree. Maybe they're doing it and not claiming it on tax, so they need to stay under a certain level of revenue to avoid sort of suspicion of the ATO. So maybe it's just a bit of pocket money on the side with no declaration of income.
Yeah, certainly that's definitely a possibility. Look, and I'm being, what's the opposite of being a misogynist, I suppose? Sexist here, because like my thoughts of looking at the listings and the photographs were, this is a male. One for the handwriting and the grubby note. Yeah, I thought if it was, it just gave me
I'm grubby. I'm grubby, but I'm not that grubby.
Yeah, that's a terrible thing to say, isn't it, about it? But yeah, it just gave me the impression that they were a male. And look, you're probably right, and they just probably concentrate on trying. They don't seem to be listing a great deal at the moment, but then maybe back in time they have listed more each day. But yeah, they've sold a lot over time.
That account started in 2007, and to have a feedback rating of 36,000, and that's just the people that have left feedback. So the sales could be a lot more than that as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, yeah, they've sold, well, their feedback's 31,285. So that's a lot of feedback, and I certainly can't claim to be anywhere near that. But yeah, interesting. And how's everyone's sales today? Are we getting any action today so far?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Sandra, I don't know if you're talking, Gigi. I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Can you
gone all quiet.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Good morning.
Can
Yeah.
you
Yeah, I
hear
can
me?
hear you now.
Okay.
I didn't hear you for about.
Interesting, because the minute I swap
Can hear you for about
screens,
30 seconds.
yeah, the minute I swap screens to go out of the room, the audio goes. I was asking
You
how.
may have to boost the server.
Yeah, I probably will. How's everyone's sales going today? Is anyone getting any action? Was what I was asking.
I think I've had one sale today. I got out of jail yesterday afternoon with a reasonably good day of sales, but it's a lot of low end stuff over the last few days. Nothing, not a lot of high end stuff is moving.
Yep. I'm a bit the same.
I had
You go, Sandra.
I had one $20 order last night and one like $28 order because it was buy two get one free. And then I had a book, a small like a $18 book sell this morning.
Right.
So I don't know.
G'day. I believe I've had a top sell this morning. It's highly likely sold on my 33% off sale, but I won't go out of the screen to tell you because then I'll lose sound again. Yeah, I mean, I finished up with a few sales yesterday, a couple of variation listings, and I think 2 or 3 from my sale. I thought my Black Friday sale might have done a little better, but then I'm not actually doing it through eBay's, we're having that 20% coupon thing. I didn't do that offer. So, I mean, I dare say that they're pushing anyone that's participating in that promotion, they'll be pushing those. This seller has some great books, but this photo needs updating. Who's that, Bax? Who's the seller? I mean, Adam? You? I'm assuming.
Yeah, it was Adam.
Yeah. So only one sale today, but yeah, hopefully as the day goes on. My store doesn't seem to come alive until night time for some reason. I get the bulk of my sales sort of, after 6 p.m, so we'll see. At least it won't be a donut day, and that's good. That's always good.
My better days have all started chinging in the mornings, but
yeah. I kind of feel like part of my problem, for me personally, part of my problem is I'm not getting the bulk of my new items listed until later in the day, and I think that's why my store's not, getting the attention till later in the day. I mean, I'm doing the drafts and getting the photos taken, but I need to go back to doing it the way I was doing it before, where I had the drafts prepared for the next day, the day before. Then in the morning I'd get up, take the photos, and the first thing I would do would be load those photos in and then send those listings live, and that meant early in the day I was getting stuff up new and live, and then do my end and sell similar. But I can't do an end and sell similar at the moment, and that's the other thing that's probably affecting my store, because I normally do between 50 and 100 a day, but I can't do end and sell similar because that will take the items out of the sale, so I'm not doing it.
I'm just not looking forward to, because a whole lot of these ones are saying this is promoted, this is promoted, this is promoted.
Yep.
So I don't know if that means it's in that eBay sale or not.
Yeah. So with that coupon thing through eBay, you can't tell at the time that item sells whether that person used one of the coupons or not. You just have to assume.
I don't know.
Assume they did.
If they've got a 20% off banner under each listing, then I'm assuming that they're getting that money off.
Yeah. And
I can't remember, was he paying 12% and I was paying 8%, or was it the other way around?
I believe that was what it was. So yeah, you were paying 12% and eBay were paying 8%, which, look, I have to say is far more generous than a lot of what their previous ones have been, where they were only going to contribute 2%. So they are contributing a lot more, but it's the lack of transparency for me. I don't do well with that. I want to know what's going on. So the fact that when you sell an item, you don't know whether that coupon's been applied, and it's not until weeks later down the track, like 6 weeks later or something, that you get the bill, and you could be getting this bill. You've got no way of knowing whether that's a true representation of what your sales were or not.
And I don't know if it's on top of my offer.
True.
Have you done your workshop thing, or am I at the tail end? And
yeah, I kind of guess sort of at the tail end. Yeah, I've done the bulk of it. I mean, you saw the person that I showed. I just went over, like I showed that person, the books that one I showed the other night with the really low end sales and the low end photos.
Yeah, that was weird.
Mm.
Don't know how people manage.
No, I don't either.
I picked up my dinosaurs. I've got 7 for $58 something because he used his staff discount as well.
Yeah, that's excellent,
So
isn't it? Yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
So
and I'll just check what the numbers are on eBay. I might list one up, but I won't list the others up yet.
yeah, and that was a good pickup. Yeah, so it was basically just running over, having standards and having what you want to be as a seller. And are you going to, if you are not presenting your store and your books or your clothing or whatever you sell in a good way, what sort of buyer are you going to attract? Are you going to attract the people that just want to buy something really cheap, or are you going to attract the better customer that might be willing to spend more money? So that was sort of the basis of it. So yeah. So
and we all know a lot of people just want the cheap.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and talked a bit about stock photos, and what our thoughts were on stock photos too. So would you like to contribute that, Sandra, before I close it up?
I've never used one, and I don't think I will. It's just, we're taking photographs every day anyway, so I put in a stock photo.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about sometimes there's a time and a place to use them on a newly tagged item, or, maybe DVDs or stuff that's sealed and it's hard to get a photo that hasn't got reflections on it, but then you'd also include a photo of the actual item. But with used items, just is not appropriate. And as a buyer, and I've said it time and time again, even the ones that do include an actual photo of the book, if they've only included one photo, unless it's something that I am desperate for, I won't even look at their listing. If they've only given me one photo or a stock photo, I just scroll past it. So yeah, there is that. Just out of curiosity, guys, before I do stop, I'm just going to go out of here because now I've boosted the server, and tell me if my audio drops out again or not, or is it okay still, please? As I keep mumbling, see if there's any news.
All good.
All good. Oh, that's good, because it was dropping in and out. Oh, that was the other question I had for everybody. Seeing as on the 22nd of November, we received the news that eBay sellers can now post videos directly to YouTube and TikTok, I was wondering how many of you have actually taken advantage of that little selling tool.
It's the first I've heard of it. No idea.
Well, yes. So apparently, so the news came...
No, I probably wouldn't use it.
Yeah. So the news came through that creating engaging and inspirational content on social media...
Now, if you talk...
Now I'm cutting out?
Yeah, you were dropping out a little bit there.
All right. So basically they were saying that creating engaging and inspirational content on social media is a powerful way to attract new customers and keeps your existing customers coming back to your eBay store. With the addition of TikTok and YouTube integrations, eBay sellers now have expanded social sharing ability from images to videos. From the Seller Hub social page, you can link your social media accounts to your eBay account and share posts to multiple social platforms right from eBay. Hooray! Hooray! It doesn't say hooray, hooray in the news, but
So if you've got a good stack of books, you could sit there and just do a little video of showing the books.
Yeah.
And upload it.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel like if you had a following, I mean, I guess I could use it in a sense with my YouTube, seeing as that is pretty much predominantly based around reselling. But then it's the sellers that I cater to, not the buyer. And I think on TikTok, if you had a social following on TikTok of people that were buying your products or selling the type of product that, and you've been, you would have to have a following for that to work, me think.
Yeah, it just sounds like another thing that, is going to eat your time up. So
Yeah.
I don't even have TikTok, so I don't think I'll be bothering with it.
Exactly.
Yes, well, I certainly don't have either of those either, so...
It would work for Furlong and Mel and...
Yep.
And
on TikTok, there's a thing called BookTok where it just hashtag BookTok and it pretty much shows you. So you could do it that way.
Yep.
And then your books would come up in that hashtag.
Okay.
And that's quite a popular hashtag. So.
Okay, interesting to know. All right, wasn't aware of that one.
Is that like reviews or what is it, Adam?
It's just like they say that they've got this book and then, so... Oh.
Okay, I'll have a look at that. I mean, look,
Pretty good.
you know, me being me, and I do now have a TikTok account. I have posted a few shorts, some of my shorts over there, just for fun and giggles, because my daughter kept telling me I should, so I did. I haven't posted a lot of content over there, but I have had a bit of positive response. Haven't got a huge amount of followers or anything, so...
What's your username?
What do you think it is, Adam?
I can't be training.
Pretty much.
I'll give you a follow.
Oh, well, thank you. Let me have a look to be...
Oh, there's a few grumpy grannies.
Yeah, there is. Hang on.
Oh, yeah, I got a grumpy grannies world.
Yeah, that's the
I'm an
one.
old Aussie.
Which is what... yeah, and that is actually what it is.
So do you want views? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, well, yeah, I'm not opposed to, because it's one of those things that I haven't given a lot of attention to yet, but I try and remember when I do a short or something to post it over there, and I just thought try and just build it over time and see what happens. You know, might be lucky one day and something will go viral. Highly doubt
It'll
it.
probably be the thing you least expect.
Probably. I did have, because one of the very first ones that I posted over there was the rap video. Yeah, I had this young guy come in and sent me messages and everything telling me how excited they were. And
Yes, I remember that.
yeah, I couldn't get over it. And that's right, because I said it was sick. And I sent him a message back saying, oh, I hope that's I knew it was, but I just was having a bit of fun with him. Saying, well, I hope that means it's good. So, yeah. All right, well, that is, I guess, the end of my thing, unless anyone else has got any questions specific or any things bothering them at the moment that they would like to discuss with the group.
How are you finding the Pomodoran session?
I'm finding them extremely good, for me personally, because, well, it's making me get up and get out of bed and be in the thing so I can in the Discord so I can start them. But I mean, I think even if I wasn't doing that, I would still continue to use that now outside of the Discord, because having that 25-minute focus time, well, for me personally, because of my back, right, it's really, the 25 minutes is just perfect, because my back's, when I'm taking photos, if I'm doing clothing, for example, 25 minutes, it's just starting to give a bit of a twinge. Whereas I would usually stay in there until I couldn't possibly take any more photos. And then I'd come in and then I'd be wrecked for the rest of the day. Whereas I'm actually finding with the 25 minutes, I'm actually getting more photos done and more listings done, because I'm able to do that and then go back again for another session after I've had a bit of a rest. So, yeah, from that perspective. And plus, I'm finding using it in the Discord is good, because you don't feel like you're working alone. I think for me, I wasn't coming into the reselling rooms a lot during the day, because I felt that I had to talk to people, and therefore if I started talking, I wasn't getting work done. But using the Pomodoro method, because I just put myself on mute and I don't talk for that period, so it's good.
What about you, Bronwyn? How are you finding it?
You should come and join us more, Adam.
Yeah, I know, I'm finding it really good. And if you've got if a question pops up, you've got a 5-minute break coming up. You can discuss it then. And how about you, Adam? Are you finding it? You've been on a bit more with it, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been on a bit more.
Got some stuff
I'm always
done.
online. It's helping, because I'm doing a lot more listing and cleaning a lot more, I guess. There's that.
Yeah.
And I think
normally I just don't do anything.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to doing stuff like the cleaning, and with the skewing, again, I'm trying to make sure that at least one of my Pomodoros a day I skew. I mean, I didn't yesterday, but today I have to go back to doing that. But doing that one session a day is actually meaning that my books that need skewing pile is actually getting lower, thank God. You mightn't feel like you're doing a lot on that one session, but if you do one session doing something like that every day, it really makes a difference after a week.
It does.
Yes, it's amazing what you can achieve in a short period of time. I think it's good, because it does make us knuckle down and do it instead of just chatting on.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see if there's any feedback from the I keep going to call it book club, from the workshop that we did on Tuesday night that I'm putting up on YouTube, because I essentially turned that into a short form Pomodoro with just the one Pomodoro session, because I have to divide it into 3 anyway, so I'm putting it into 25 minutes, and then I added the timer bit at the end for the thing. But during the actual, how I've usually got like some sort of video playing, Goldfish or something, when it's playing, during that I've got it scrolling across the screen what the Pomodoro is and how it works, so that people will understand it that haven't tried it before.
Well, there you go. I sent you a few views on your TikTok video.
Oh, thanks, Adam.
Now it's up to let me refresh. It's up to 3,600.
Woohoo, I'm going viral. It's funny.
I do it for my niece. But I'd send her videos up to like 100,000. I have a thing.
Yeah. What does she do on TikTok?
She's pretty much just dancing and gymnastics. She done like she went to the beach and she done like 5 backflips at once.
Oh wow!
She posts that. Yeah, it's pretty good, I guess.
Very good. To be young and fit again would be nice.
That's right.
I think I need to go to office work.
Yes.
I might do that.
Oh, we just got a really big one just opened up again. That's good.
Yeah.
Let's go check that.
So what's at office work, Sandra? What do you need?
Vince needs a new chair. He's got a
go to
where? I just
check online.
well,
Actually, guys, we've not got a very big office works here, and on the weekend when we're in Albury, we went to office works there, which is huge, twice the size of the one we've got. And I sat some chairs because I need a new one. My office chair is about 45 years old, and I couldn't believe there were some really comfy ones. Expensive, but really comfy.
Yeah.
He's got an old gaming chair, like the racing car.
Yeah.
Right?
They had heaps of those.
Yes,
but
they've
they
got them
were
on sale, and he finds it really comfortable. It's got no wheels on it, and it's it's really seen better days.
Yeah, well, I mean, today or tomorrow is probably the time to buy it with Black Friday sales, isn't it?
Yeah, so I might take it. And he got up today, as I said to him.
Very good. All right.
To